Hello, ladies and gentlemen, crypto deep divers. Welcome back to Weekly Crypto. Today, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin, and Ray Dalio talk about the New World Order. If you haven't installed the Brave browser, you can click the link below. Brave browser is pretty cool because it block out all the advertising. So before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out the upcoming airdrop or token swap. Also, you can follow me on Twitter as well. So Super Crypto, they sent out this tweet, and there's a user asking him about the price of Bitcoin. Now it's being forced down right now. This is back on November 14. And is it because the big players want to accumulate in anticipation of the price surge during the next halving? So his response is, if the bankers were not there in 2017, Bitcoin would not have gone to 20,000. If you remove that pump from the chart Bitcoin, so if you remove that pump from because of the pump, we would still below 2K today. So because of the pump from the bankers back in 2017, that's why you go to 20,000 and all that. And I don't even recall this is suppressions, and all they're doing is buying time to increase the paper supply, which is a CME Bitcoin future contract. So pump to 20K was requirement for increase the paper supply. And once they have enough paper Bitcoin, price control is easy. And so he's asking, he's asking, I assume the pump to 20K was necessary to attract mass interest to the Bitcoin. Is that correct? And his response is yes. So basically, the 20K is a big hype to the media, and everybody want Bitcoin back in 2017 in December. Even the grandma doesn't know what is Bitcoin. The average Joe want a piece of it. So everybody wants Bitcoin at the time. So if everybody wants it, it's time to get out. And right now, the average Joe is not interested in Bitcoin at all. So nobody talk about Bitcoin. I guess they're in the stock market. I'm not sure because I don't interact with those people. I have no idea. So let me know what you think about the average Joe is doing. Are they in cash, or are they in the stock market? Are they in gold or silver, or are they in gold in Bitcoin? Obviously, it's not Bitcoin because not that many people talk about it right now. At least, if your coworker talk about it, then it's time to get out, I guess. Or your friend talk about it, it's time to get out. So nobody asked me about Bitcoin lately, but I think back in 2017, I think a lot of people asking me about Bitcoin during that time. And so he also tweeted about on December 9, Bakkt Bitcoin USD cash settlement monthly future contract will be launched in ICE Future in Singapore. So people talk about Bakkt. Remember, like last year, people talk about, hey, if Bakkt come in using Bitcoin as a settlement, it's good, blah, blah, blah. It will pump the price. Everybody is so bullish about Bitcoin. But at that time, I told everybody, I told my viewers saying that Bakkt is not good to the community because of the rehypothecation and commingling. It's not good. It's not good at all. So if you go back to my previous video, you know what I'm talking about. And because at the time, there's a lot of YouTubers saying Bakkt is good and how good it is. It's going to pump the market. It's going to skyrocket. We're going to the moon. So what happened to Bitcoin right now? We're still around 7,600 today, right? So it get to nowhere at this time. So just be careful out there what people are saying. So you got to do your own research as well. And so I think somebody replying, I think Super Crypto replying, absolutely paper crap floating everywhere. People still believe in 21 million Bitcoin. Bankers are creating 21 billion before their eyes. They have no clue. Who can educate them? That's true. If you're using the future contract, you don't have to settle in the physical Bitcoin. You can just speculate based on the price, and then you settle in cash. And right now, this is a cash settle. The Bakkt cash settle monthly future contract is a cash settle, no physical. So don't be too naive that Wall Street comment is good to the community. Everybody, back in those days, for the Bitcoin CME future or CBOE, now CBOE, they don't have any more Bitcoin future. Back then in December, everybody is so bullish. So just remember one thing. If everybody is so bullish talking about it, they're talking about Bakkt, how good it is, that means the opposite is true. That means it's not good to the community. So just, and also you have to find out the reason why they are not good to the community. You cannot just say, hey, I go to a different direction, but you have to reason out, rationalize why it's not good to the community. So if you go back to my previous video, I talk about rehypothecation and commingling. If you follow me for quite some time, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, so you can go back to my previous video. So he also tweeted about it will take several years to build the paper supply on the CME. Till that time, these pumps and dumps will continue to frustrate the hodler. And they're telling everyone to start trading. System collapse will change everything when it happens. He also talked about something interesting. I think some of the user in Twitter user talk about they will sell wife if it goes to 7.5k, kids at 6k, organs at 3k. We are at the first stop right now. Let me tell you, bankers are ruthless. Be very careful. We haven't seen the final bottom yet. Forget this pumps and dumps. Well, we will see. But right now, I think we go to lower low and we break the 21 moving average. It's not a good sign to Bitcoin at all. And we are in a downward momentum anyway. So I talked about that in my previous video in a downward momentum. That's what I said, and I didn't say buy anything, right? Did I say buy anything? No, I didn't say buy anything. I already told you it's in a downward momentum, and so the entire fake pump of 38% 4 weeks back has been wiped out. 24 hours pump minus 4 weeks of slow pump. Now they have more Bitcoin than the last time. If you're a hodler, you miss 10% to 40% of the Bitcoin gain. That's interesting. So let me know what you think about this this comment. I would love to hear from you. Are we going downhill from now on? What do you think? And Mr. Anderson also sent out a tweet about. So right now he want to have some data. So he asked people, where are we on this chart right now? So I go through the majority of the people saying that is in disbelief. So if everybody say in disbelief, you got to be skeptical, right? Every single time you got to be skeptical on all this. Let me know what you think. Where are we at right now? Are we in anxiety, denial, panic, anger, or capitulation, or depression, or disbelief? Please comment below. I would love to hear from you. Let's talk about Ray Dalio. So Ray Dalio, in case you don't know him, he is a founder of the Bridgewater Associate, and his hedge fund is about 18.6 billion, the net worth. And so he is the world wealthiest, one of the wealthiest billionaire. He is around, I think, ranking 58, the world's 58 wealthiest individual. And he basically, he is not, his parents is not rich. I think his father is a musician, so he start everything by himself. So he's self-made. He is not like some of the people who has a golden spoon. You know I'm talking about. Some people, they have a golden spoon. They don't have to work. They already got a whole bunch of inheritance, so they don't have to work to build a business or whatnot. And he talked about the right now big SEC, central bank policy, bringing about the new world order. And I don't know if you still remember, I talked about this a year ago. Get ready for a world currency. So maybe there's a new world order coming up. And this is the front page. This is the front page of the Economist back in the 80s. So they already foresee there will be a new world currency. And he talked about a few things. There's some major drivers. For example, the productivity will increase, and then things can do better, faster, and then more output per manpower and all this. And then also there's a debt cycle, and then you can, of course, there's a whole bunch of cycle. You have expansion, and then you have a recession, and then the economy becomes so weak, and then inflation is low, and then the monetary policy. Right now, we are in an easy money policy right now, so it creates more expansion of the economy, and all the money flow to the stock market, to the real estate, and and of course, this cycle has been booming for the last decade, and everything has a cycle. And for example, the stock market, usually every 8 years you have a cycle, and we are in a very extended bull market right now. Right now, S&P is at all-time high. Everything, even the housing market, is at all-time high in most of the state. And another thing he talked about is the death cycle, the long-term death cycle. And the cycle will eventually end, unfortunately. And because you have a situation that eventually the interest rate will go to zero. And right now, when you put your money into the bank, you don't receive any interest. Unlike in the 80s, they have stagflation. And you get almost 10% if you put the money in the bank. And of course, at the time, the mortgage is pretty expensive too. It's like 13% or 15% and stuff like that. So right now we are not in that stage. Right now, because we're printing and printing, we keep the interest rate, maintain a very low interest rate very low for the extended period of time, because after the financial crisis, and this is the thing, I mean, this is the only ammunition to save the economy, right? But the thing, at the same time, we create another big bubble coming up. So unfortunately, he also talked about technology, artificial intelligence. So I talked about artificial intelligence long time ago, probably since last year. So artificial intelligence is a big thing. It's going to replace a lot of jobs, and it will, for example, self-driving car, even a specialist, even if you think you are a professional, you are indispensable, or if you're in your dream, because even a doctor, a radiologist can be replaced by artificial intelligence, because they can read those pictures better than human. And in the future, I'm not surprised that when you go to do a surgery, you will have two choices. One is done by a human with a success rate of 98.7%, and with a robot or artificial intelligence, their success rate may be 99.9%, and people may be better go to a robot to do the surgery rather than human, because AI can do a lot better in terms of accuracy, in terms of speed. They are much faster than human. So, and in terms of the learning curve for them, they are very fast. Actually, they can leap forward, like they can jump really fast in terms of learning. And with the 5G implementation, is even more favorable for the AI, because they need vast amount of tons and tons of data in order to feed the neural network for the AI. And of course, they need to be fast. They very fast. So that's why they use 5G. And unfortunately, I talk about 5G is not good for your health because of the mini waves. And then they have signal towers in the neighborhood. Because the mini waves, they send signals in a short distance. So that's why they have towers very short distance. And those mini waves can go through your body and can potentially affecting your brain waves and can cause cancer as well. For microwave, just like you microwave your stuff, is microwave. But this is mini waves. This is like very, very small kind of waves can get to your body. This is unfortunately, I mean, unless you go to some remote area, there's no 5G. But unfortunately, they're going to implement 5G in big city first, right? And if you want to escape from all this, probably you need to go to a very remote area. and of course, he talked about the big sec, and he doesn't want to call recession or something like that. Not a debt crisis, but then you have a whole bunch of pension and healthcare debt. Those are piling up. Healthcare is very expensive in the US, and those obligations, those healthcare or pension obligations, has to be paid, right? And in the long run, the government is trying to probably print more money instead of austerity and all that. And if this is because austerity is not going to be a popular policy in mainstream, everybody feel like a sense of entitlement and all this. And in some state, the pension is already go bankrupt. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's very, I don't know. But I think the next debt crisis probably in pension or student loan or even healthcare, and we'll see. And also another factor is the reserve currency status. So the U.S. has been printing all this money since the 2008 the financial crisis, and a lot of people are talking about whether U.S. will maintain the world reserve currency, and China and U.S. have a trade war right now. China basically has a lot of influence in a lot of countries, in Asian countries, in Africa, in basically everywhere in the world, even in the Pacific Ocean, those tiny little islands. China has huge influence in all these countries because they have so much money. For the last decade, they have tons of money. And also China and Russia, when they trade, they use their own currency. They don't change to US dollar to trade. And I think China also trade with some other countries without using the US dollar as well. I'm not sure which country. If you know, you can put the country name below. Maybe Brazil. I'm not sure. So for Russia, when China want to buy some oil from Russia, they probably using their own currency to do the trade instead of using the US dollar. And so this will threaten the US, the status of the world reserve currency, and then that's why and then right now they have a trade war right now and all that. And because of the money, so basically he's saying that the monetary policy, the existing monetary policy will not work as it has before, and this will bring about a new world order. So I talk about the get ready for the world currency. Maybe in the future, after everything collapses, there's only one currency to rule the world. It could happen. We don't know. And another scary thing we talk about is, so Ray Dalio talk about because of the gap between the rich and the poor, the wealth gap is getting so big. There's a lot of protests or discontent in a lot of country. For example, in Hong Kong, in Chile, and there's a lot of countries. They have a lot of problems. And another thing is right now is the situation in the future. They may have a situation like 1944 in the future. 1944 is World War II, right? In between World War II. And 1939 to 1945 is World War II. And 1944 is the time that they decided that US dollar become the world reserve currency. Then he's saying that something like this may happen in the future. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller. I have no idea what will going in from now on in the future. And just based on what we see right now, that we may be heading to that direction. And because of the get ready for the world currency, and this is back in the 80s in the front page in the Economist magazine, and we don't know. And then a lot of people, because of the total collapse or the the doomsday or whatnot, so they decided to move away from the city. They live in a remote area. They are self-sufficient. They are off the grid. And then they have their own land. They raise their own chickens with the chicken coops, and then they grow their own food to eat. And they don't rely on anybody. Just in case something happens, they carry their guns, their ammunitions, and in case something happens, they can protect themselves. So there's some people like that too. And then they stock the supply for at least 6 months to a year in case something happen outside. I know a few of these people too. They have been preparing for the last 5 or 10 years for the doomsday. But let me know what you think about this doomsday. Do you think we are coming to that direction? Do you think we are going to have one world currency after the collapse? Do you think that could happen? Let me know what you think, and what do you think about the trade war right now? And there's a lot of things going on around the world. There's a lot of unrest and a lot of there's a yellow vest movement, and this is all because of the wealth gap between the poor and the rich, and because of the monetary policy for the last decade. If you're the saver, you put your money in the bank, you're going to lose out tons of the purchasing power because of inflation. But if you are one of those people who put the money in a different asset class in the stock market, in the real estate, you probably become a billionaire by now, or at least a millionaire, not billionaire, or depending on how you invest. So you probably become a millionaire. You don't have to work anymore if you take advantage of the last 10 years, because of the easy money policy. So let me know what you think about all this. Do you think we are going to come to an end to have just one world currency? Do you think the US dollar will lose the reserve status? Please comment below. I would love to hear from you. And let me know what's the direction of Bitcoin. Do you think we'll go down a little bit further from 7,600 level? We'll go down another area? Please comment below. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you. If you found this video helpful, smash the like button. Subscribe to my channel. Also share with your friends. Make sure you subscribe. You don't miss out the upcoming airdrop or token swap. Also, you can follow me in Twitter as well. And please comment below, and that will help my ranking in YouTube. And I will continue to provide quality video for you guys. Remember, crypto deep divers, we the people take control of our money. Stay wise, stay safe, peace. I'm not a financial advisor. Investing in cryptocurrency and commodity or stock market can have inherent risk. Please use your due diligence.